Oh, great.
इसका नाम
Gathering of the Legends Club, which was formed by the late Mr. Raj Singh Dungarpur on 12th October 2003 to perpetuate the memory of three legends of Indian cricket and indeed world cricket, Veenu Mankad, Vijay Merchant and Vijay Hazare. 29 meetings have been held so far. This is the 30th. And we have gathered here on the 101st birth anniversary of Vijay Merchant. The topic for today is the challenges across all formats of the game. As we all know, cricket is one of those few games which is played at the international level in as many as 3 different formats. And each format has varied challenges which will only change, decrease, increase as we go along. We have with us on the dais a distinguished panel. They need no introduction. Their exploits, their feats on the cricket field speak for themselves. I would like to request the President of the Legends Club, Mr. Amogh Mathure, to say a few introductory words. Thank you.
Friends, I would like to welcome all of you on this 30th Legends Club meeting this evening. As Devendra has introduced the subject, I have nothing more to add. We have a very distinguished panel here that would be answering to many of the questions which you may ask. The format of the evening would be that each one will maybe speak for 5 minutes, something like that, introduce their own thoughts, and then the discussion will be open to the gathering. Before I say anything about Vijay Merchant, and there's plenty to say, on this occasion I would like to make a special mention of 2 gentlemen. One who travels every year for this day all the way from London, and that is Mr. Rucha Communications, who was also my senior in Jolly Cricketers and also a great admirer of Vijay Merchant, a devotee you can say. And the other person I would like to welcome specially is Rucha Communications. Again, son of another great legend. About Rahul, I may also mention to the gathering that he is the only corporate member as of now. He lives in Dubai and also in Brisbane, but whenever he is in Bombay, he makes it his point to be at the Legends Club gathering as and when it is there. So our special welcome to you, Rahul. A couple of other announcements which I would like to make are, as you might have experienced, the club is getting more and more formalized. I think the lapel pins have now been distributed, membership cards have been distributed. We are conscious that some more work needs to be done. We have received checks, some have yet not in cash for technical reasons, there is no other reason. But that again will happen, and those who have paid money will become full-fledged members. Those who have not joined the club yet, my appeal to them would be, please do join and enlarge the number of members. The other announcement which I would like to make, at the last meeting of Legends Club that we had, the committee meeting, we had considered the issue of increasing or adding to the number of three legends that have been there for many years now. It's 10 years to be more accurate. And what the committee decided was to leave the job to four of us, myself, Bapu Nadkarni, Nari, contractor, and Ajit Wadekar, to decide who would qualify to be a legend. Unanimous decision of the committee was to invite Sunil Gavaskar to be a legend. I think it is a formality which we will need to certainly undergo by writing to him, getting his acceptance, and then once that formality has been completed, at the next meeting of legends, then we will formally induct him into the legend. He will be the additional fourth legend. Living legend, yes. Well, but Hazare was also a living legend when he was made a legend. So technically I am on some grounds. So having said that, the evenings, today the memory of late Vijay Merchant that we are felicitating his memory. Vijay Bhai's cricket needs no introduction. I think without that kind of record, for all these three gentlemen and the fourth one who hopefully will join us, without that record, they could never have been invited to be legends. Vijay Bhai's career, I think everybody knows his contribution to the game of cricket, to Indian cricket, whether through batting, whether through captaincy, whether through commentary. I think it's well known. I need not go into that. But the other aspect of Vijay Merchant, which some of you may not be aware, those who are particularly young, was as a great human being, his contribution to society, to the handicapped, to the underprivileged, I think was something which was exceptional. And that is also another aspect of Vijay Bhai's life and his personality that needs to be quoted repeatedly over and over. I was fortunate enough to have not only seen him back right from Pentangular days, but also had the good fortune to be playing at the other end while he was batting. In fact, I joined with Fort Vijay Club mainly to be able to bat with him. And that itself was an education. Even before I joined the Fort Vijay Club, when I was an aspiring opening batsman, Vinu Mankar, who was our coach, one of the disciplines that we aspiring opening batsmen had to undergo was to come to the CCI early morning, maybe 6:37. Why? Because Vijay Merchant would, perfectionist as he was, would come early morning to bat on dew-affected practice pitches against aspiring fast bowlers of Bombay. They were mostly collegiates and so on. And Vinu Bhai would make some of us, myself, Joe Kamath, Yatin Vede and others, behind the nets to watch Vijay Bhai not bat, but to see him lead the ball, the moving ball. Because as he had said earlier in my career, that Mother, the art of opening batting is in leaving the ball, not playing it. And he was a master judge of the moving ball. Obviously that was his great quality of his batting. And and that stood in good state when he went to England in 46 and on those rate-affected wickets scored 2,300 runs, which was the greatest summer in England, 1946. And of course his record when he was the Ranji Trophy, etc., is too well known to be repeated. So it is his memory that we are today commemorating, and what we thought when the committee met, that what should be the topic for discussion. And we felt, given the fact that the game has changed so much from Vijay's playing days, or for that matter from our playing days, in different directions. Now you have three formats: the Test cricket, the ODIs, and the T20s. And obviously these changing formats have also brought about challenges to all involved in the playing of that game, whether it be umpires, whether it be batsmen, whether it be bowlers or captains and so on. And we felt this kind of discussion or subject should be discussed or introduced by three great cricketers who have considerable knowledge of the game and they have insight into the game, and if they could introduce the subject to the audience, then I think audience will be inspired to raise questions, because in a game of cricket there can never be any conclusive decisions. There will always be arguments. As long as arguments are fair and reasonable, I think that's good for the game. So without saying very much more, I'm going to request the first speaker would be Praveen Amre. Now Praveen needs no introduction, century on debut, a great cricketer, young cricketer, also now involved in coaching for Air India and a stalwart in his own right at a young age. So may I request Praveen to say a few words on the subject, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mother sir. But today's dais actually is very special for me as a person, because I got Vasu sir, who is the one, because of him I was in Air India. He was my first coach for under 19, where we went for a World Cup. Ajit sir is here because of him when I got a test cap there in South Africa. And also Madhav sir also, like he was at that time a CIC chairman, where I became the first Mumbai coach. And of course, Natani sir is also there when I was first selected to the Indian team. Through him only I got the felicitation. So this is a really special dais for me, and it is a really honor on these days. I'm sharing the dais with him. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Coming to the subject, like the challenges of all format. Basically, like we started playing for Mumbai and dreaming for like getting that the magic, like getting that Mumbai cap first, and that was the whole aim when we started playing school cricket. And for me, it's like from there, after playing for Mumbai, then only we believe that we can go to the bigger goal, that is getting India cap. Yes, that was always a dream for us. That one format was in mind, like getting that test cap. And I think that for that, we know that we have to really slog, work hard. And to me, my journey was tough to get that test cap, because I played for Bombay in '86, but I left Mumbai, went back to railways, and from there, Central Zone, I got a test cap. But yeah, that is the thing, like that for that format demands like more discipline, more dedication, and like surviving for 5 days and playing on the last day's wicket is, I think, special skill. And then that mental toughness, I think that's the real challenge, even that time also, and it is today also. And maybe that is all we are cricket lover. We always believe that still today it's like a test cricket is a real test cricket. There, that is the one who will, and I think like today's generation also, even though some of them are really highly paid in a shorter version, but they also do believe like even a test cap is something which they are missing. And I think that is the best thing to see, that in their thing, all the whatever in today's modern world, they can afford it. But that for test cap, they're really missing that, and there some of the players are really working to get that test cap. Coming to the one day, I think that is the one format I personally believe that changed everything, like 1983 winning a World Cup. To me, I can say like that was the moment I can that is the moment I decided that no, I wanted to play for India. Before that I was just playing, but that particular moment really motivated me, and I think that changed, and I'm sure like it may be for many cricketers happen, like winning the World Cup. It always a special moment for a budding cricketer, and it happened to me. I experienced that, and it was always nice to sharing a dressing room with Kapil Dev. Maybe that particular moment was really important. Coming to now the latest format is the T20, and which is more innovative. I think we saw as a coaches also it's always a challenging and also not innovative, like that switch hit shot is, I think it's what is beauty of itself, because we come up like a coaching manuals, we have to play like that, but nowadays that shot is whatever pace you are, man, it can help you to win the match, and I think that's the thing. I personally feel like coaches also has become more challenging in last 5 years. I've seen like as our mind also we have to keep open, and we have to follow the example of like parachute. It works only when it's open, and I think that's the way we have to coach. Like who knows, like any format they can go there. Like the best name is Ravindra Jadeja also. He started with T20, but he then performed there, and then he went to the one day. Same thing with Ajinkya also. Like we all talk about the basics of the cricket. How if your basics are strong, you can survive at any level or any format. And I think Ajinkya Rahane was the best example. Even his basics so strong, like even in IPL he scored more than 500 runs. So these are the examples, like for even a budding cricketer, it's like choosing the format, but to that also is sticking to the basics. It's still, I think that's also equally more challenging, because without that, without your cricketing technique, you cannot survive. And I personally believe that as a coaches also, like even though it's test book or whatever it is, that basic they have to stick, which will take to the next level. Once again, I think that's my small thing, because I think I give it to our legends, because I learned from them, and I think definitely they will. But today's challenge is like that, you have to adopt that quickly, all the formats, and get ready, because whatever it is, the short time you get, I think you have to go there and deliver. That's it. Thank you very much.
I would like to request Mr. Madhav Apte to formally welcome Mr. Praveen Amre into the Legends Club by presenting him with a memento. Before we go any further, just a couple of announcements continuing in Mr. Apte's way. On behalf of all of us, I would like to take the opportunity to wish Mr. Madhav Apte a belated happy birthday. He celebrated his birthday last week. And coincidentally, it also happens to be the birth anniversary of the individual who many people believe was the best captain who never got to lead India, the late Amogh Mathure. Let's give him a big hand. Our next speaker for today is someone whose achievement remains unparalleled in the history of cricket. It has never happened before, and it is unlikely to happen again. Leading a team to 2 consecutive series wins overseas without a single fast bowler. This achievement is never likely to be repeated. I would like to request Mr. Ajit Wadekar to talk on the subject. Challenges across all formats of the game.
Mr. President, Dr. Narkani, and my friend Vasu and Ravi, and good to see that chap in the hat and all it. He got it from Australia, Millen. And of course, Rahul, actually, it's very nice to see you after ages. You look the same almost, but this is something, a subject exactly, I think, who can really talk on is a person like Ravi. I'm sure about it. Devendra did mention that I able to win, against West Indies on their soil, against England on their soil, without the fast bowlers. But we had the fast bowlers who were much slower than the spinners. They were, this is, I I really don't know exactly. I mean, when we talk about this challenges when it comes to different formats, and like they were mentioned that it's only 3 formats, but there are others also formats which are being played in Singapore and other places, which of course we are not aware of it. But these 3 formats basically, I mean, it could be merged into one, but it's innovation, like Praveen said, absolutely right. When it comes to One Day International, and when it comes to 2020, it's a gimmick, But these innovations are what a gimmick exactly you have in cricket, but that's a genuine cricket where the time comes when you've got to add on, like Praveen said, adjust, to the situation. And sometimes I've seen that we did play one day, as much before exactly this One Day Internationals came into existence or born, like Talent Shield, Comrade Shield, 90 overs and all. There were limited overs exactly. And we did enjoy that. But when it comes to playing, longer versions, say test matches or 20 trophy matches, you do require sometimes. I mean, you can't let it, get the match into a boring draw or something. That means if you have to go for a win, that means you've got to adapt to that situation. I said Dilip Venkat playing Ranji Trophy match against Haryana that we require, I think, Mumbai required, I don't know, maybe over 200 runs in the last session or something, and Kapil was bowling as the captain of the Haryana team. He had kept all the fielders right on the boundary line so that runs would be stopped. I think Dilip Venkat was batting maybe once and two exactly he could manage. But even despite that, I think there are some of the batsmen I've seen now in 2020. I think they started right from the banging the ball right from the first delivery or first ball you face in the match. But the way Dilip played, actually, he looked a much, and then he brought the team, Ranji Trophy team, Bombay team, so close. I think we lost by 3 or 4 runs or 6 runs. Oh, 1 run. That's right. Yeah. But it's just really, really amazing. And so this is what it's all invites. This how you when you act to the situation. But then, perhaps exactly that Test cricket started losing its charm or something. So this is we innovated. We had it innovated this one days and all. And that's of course I think more challenging in the sense that it becomes much shorter. It's not a cricket, but not a genuine cricket, but it becomes shorter, 50 overs. So, I mean, you've got to rush into getting runs. You've got to rush into, getting wickets. Or if that's not possible, the last resort is, of course, to try to bowl tight, to try to contain the batsman. These 3 alternatives were there. And I suppose, I think, when you still cut it shorter, I think it's 2020, I think it's the same thing. But the concept is changing. Like Praveen said, it must be pretty difficult to coach these youngsters, You play in the V shape or something like to start with, and don't lift the ball. And how are you going to convince this 10 years or 14 years of old, youngsters aspiring to become Sachin Tendulkar or, Sehwag or whatnot. And it's very difficult because they're watching it on this Indian box, TV, all along. And then it must be a difficult job. I think that must have been the greatest challenge for this coaches also. So there are challenges and that will go on. But I think the shorter it becomes, it's getting more accurate in the sense that you can't, I mean, of course, there are rules exactly. You can't go wider and all, you can't go to the wall and all, then you get a free heat and whatnot. So this is getting really better. But more so, I think, when you watch this, when you must have watched all these matches in Sri Lanka, 2020 World Cup, and it's a power exactly. Chris Gayle, I think, it's basically Chris Gayle and Pollard who joined the West Indies team. I think that made entirely a different team at all. It's basically, they're so powerful, they could hit the ball at will. I mean, this is exactly what I think the game had changed. But then, when you try to get the, make, or rather to get money made out of it, or get the crowd interested in cricket, which the old guy who had played on the longer version, played on the Ranji Trophy or this match. It's very difficult, to digest that. How long, I mean, this will go on. It's okay, you require money, you require to sustain this Chilean cricket, that's cricket, that's for certain. But then, how much emphasis we should put on this? Is it going to kill ultimately the Chilean cricket? Because you see this number of test series being played, this number of test matches being played. And then, number two exactly, I feel that whether you feel really, like Praveen said, that when we were playing, we were aspiring to have only India cap, nothing else. We were really proud to play for the country. Now, I think the whole concept is changed. If you are playing for the country, you start feeling a little bit sick, you start feeling unfit. And then, when it comes to 2020 or some matches, and you jump into that and you start feeling suddenly fit. It's really this is the challenge now. I think that Praveen or we're not able to sort it out exactly. Those who really control the cricketing boards and all, who really controls the global cricket and all. I mean, they've got to balance it properly, see that, the Chilean cricket, and I think there will be questions and answers and all, so I won't take much of the time. Thank you very much, and then Mr. President can switch over to another speaker. But before that, I think I must, glad to be here on the birthday of this greatest nation that our country has produced, that Vijay Bhai. I used to call him Vijay Bhai. Vijay Bhai made a hell of a difference in my cricketing career. Had it not been the casting vote, I don't think I would have played cricket any longer. But he made business, my office was just across his office, and when the moment I got chosen as a captain, he called me next day in his office. And then, of course, I wanted to go and thank him also. But he himself called me and he said, just because I got you on the casting vote as a captain, that doesn't mean that, that I like you. I would start liking you only when you start winning. I think that's typical with, and like President Mathure said that, this is only cricketing effort, so disciplined, so business-like. But then I learned quite a lot from him, that he was the president of the 3R Society. And that's where, the downtrodden, handicapped, physically challenged, blind, exactly he got me involved. Maybe I think I started getting interested in that, and that's one thing which I think Vijay Bhai has taught me to give it back to the society which requires most. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is one of the foremost gurus of the game. Many cricket lovers would give an arm, a leg, maybe both arms and both legs to just hear him talk about cricket. We are very fortunate in that regard that we don't have to surrender any of our limbs. But please welcome Mr. Vasu Paranspe.
Friends, after this overflowing introduction, I have to be careful because I don't think I have enough material to carry the limbs of anyone. The game has really changed over the years, and I don't think I am very happy about it. I think Test cricket is the ultimate cricket, and the legends photographs here of Vijay Merchant and Vijay Hazare, if they were to be alive to see 2020, I think they would have retired much earlier. You know, merely by batting in the nets, if you lifted a ball, your coach shouted last round. Because that was just not done. But the game has changed so much that now that is the shot of the day. If Gale gets out early, the stands empty. That's very sad for cricket. But the problem of our cricket is that challenges is the only challenge that I saw all my life in cricket was winning. And for that, more than anything else, the attitude has to be perfect. Physical fitness and mental fitness are bound to be there for you to reach that stage. And this is what I have to say. And after that, the tempo of the match, tempo of the game has tremendously changed when you see Test cricket, when you see 50-50 and when you see T20. I think there is a tremendous difference in the tempo. And that is what I think one has to take it as a challenge to succeed. I don't know how much can I add to the topic today. With Praveen Amre overflowing with all his comments along with Ajit, I leave it to you all to question us. Thank you.
We would like to throw the floor open for questions, so kindly raise your hand and indicate whom you wish to ask. Yeah, Mr. Vagale.
I've got one question to all five of them straight away. To Mr. Madhav Apte, since he saw all three of them and Mr. Paranspe did answer the question in some way, how would these three have reacted to the 50 overs and the 20? To Bapu Natrani, would he bowl 4 maiden overs at a trot out here as well? To Mr. Paranspe, as a coach, how would he handle the seniors in the 20 format and the 50 format? To Mr. Wadekar, as a captain in the 50 overs and the 20, because 74 is the time when he went out and one day that just come in. As a captain, how would he handle the 3 formats? And to the young Praveen Amre, 2020, would it be his cup of tea? So all 5 of them.
Additional President.
The reason why I asked you, sir, is because you've seen all 3 of them and played.
True. But I think my immediate response would be a great sportsman, whether it be cricket, whether it be billiard, whichever game that you play. What makes him great is the fact that he's above the rest of them, that's one. Secondly, when you are at that level, obviously you have the wherewithal, and what today's these different formats really mean is really adaptation, innovation. Now, when we look at adaptation or innovation, you must also consider the equipment that has changed. Just to give you one example, that parachute shot or whatever it's called, would it have been possible without the helmet and without the visors, would any batsman have risked playing that shot above the and without the at the peril of his physical injury and so on? So the game, in that sense, in equipment etc. has changed. But these great people, just to give another example, when there is wet wicket, in those days there used to be wet wickets, the wickets were not covered. Now for people like Hazare or Merchant, who were brought up on hard Indian wickets, when they played overseas in English summer, on wet wickets which are uncovered, drying wickets, etc. It was adaptation. Why? Because basically the technique was sound. I think what is required, I think Praveen mentioned it, it's like in a circus, the clown, he may do all kinds of acts, but he has to be basically a very sound performer himself for him to do all the tricks that he does. So similarly, I think I have no doubt in my mind that these two great batsmen, or all three of them, Inubai was a lot when it came to batting. I think he did not follow necessarily the technical aspect of batting. He improvised. And I have, as I said, I'm one of the great fortunate persons to have seen his 180 at Lord's. Amazing. And I've also seen him from the other end in West Indies when he made 96 and so on. So they're all great technicians that you are. And this part is really adaptation. The mindset, of course. I believe that 70% of your game is really played in the mind. At that level, there is no great difference between technique of one and the other. So to answer your question, I have no doubt that they would have adapted themselves to the game as it is now.
Bapuji, four medals in T20.
It's a difficult question to answer in the sense that it could have been a good challenge for me, because I was not bad at length at any sort of game. My ball will be always landing there. That was the basic principle I learned from cricket. But whether I will be successful or not in that class of cricket, unless I can prove it, I cannot say whether I will have it. But I can tell you that it would have been a good challenge for me. It would have been a good challenge, would have been accepted by me gladly. I put it that way. Because any cricketer would love to challenge his talents or his class or his capability in any class of cricket. I would have been for one, positive. But unfortunately, no credit was there of that time, which is today. It could have been a good challenge. And I would have gladly accepted it.
Milan, what do you want me to answer?
As a coach, how would you have gone about on the 50 and the 20 overs, the 20 in particular?
Well, you start teaching them how to hit the ball, and if they don't do it properly, the selection will take care of it. No, cricket is too funny a game, and I always feel that we are no less when it comes to ability all over the world. But I think there is a bit of a chink in our armor when it comes to attitude. Cricket, for me, it is only to be won. You can't go and play a drawn game. If you have to score 438 to win on the last day, you have to try it. That's the whole thing. If you are going to draw every game, then probably T20 will be followed by T10.
Captaincy in the 2020 format.
Is that Milan's question, captaincy? Yeah, I think this one-way Manchester City, I think it started in 74 with it really was bad in England, and later on we played this like West just one day, and we did fairly well actually. We lost both the games. We lost both the games. We really enjoyed it. Again, to be frank, like President said, that I think what it matters is adoption. You know, when you reach certain level, that's my opinion, then most of them are, when it comes to talent, technique, and then what it matters is concentration, temperament, and the adoption. I think that matters most. And if you are not able to do that, then you're out. That's exactly what Vasu said, that, you know, if you don't perform well, then you're definitely out. But that's what it matters at that level. So I think it's just captain, as a captain, you got to see exactly whether that guy who's playing under you is really adapting, or is he really fit enough? And yeah, like Vasu said, that is he really trying to play for the team or play to win exactly? And that's more important for the captain to see. And then, in case it happens sometimes that, okay, not all players of your liking you get in the team. So I think you've got to, change your, different, how to handle, handling players and all. So players, maybe you have not seen them, others have seen them, and they are in the team. And to get them together exactly to play, that is more important, but exactly to go for it when it comes to the shorter form. I mean, there is no way exactly in shorter version exactly you can't, you will ever draw the game. So there is no way, and so you've got to go for the win. But how you go about the win exactly, because when it comes to, we talk quite a lot in a dressing room when it comes to team meeting. But out you go in the open, the ground, then it may be raining, it may be cloudy, things are different, conditions are different, and then you've got to keep on taking each and every ball. It's not that what you planned given to you by the coach, super coach or something. So it's not that you have to go by it, but it's the captain who has to take a decision on the spot. But then he has got to adapt to the different situation and all. Like we've got to adapt, like President said, when it comes to the test, when it comes to the situation, it's all that matters when you cross certain level.
Thank you.
He was like, I've played 2020. Yes, definitely, like Babu sir said, like, that is a challenge. I would have been definitely taken that challenge. Like even this 120 ball game, I would have been there to contribute myself and come back as a winner. That's the way. Like we played test cricket, played one day, got a man of the match. So definitely, I would have been like to play this format also. Thanks.
मी मराठीतून बोलतो. माझा प्रश्न प्रवीण आमरे यांना आहे. एक 18 वर्षाचा मुलगा आहे, मुंबईत क्रिकेट खेळतोय. 3 दिवसाची टाइम स्लिप खेळतो, 1 दिवसाचा गॅप घेतो, एक 20-20 खेळतो, परत 1 दिवसाचा गॅप घेतो आणि मग तालीम स्वीट खेळतो. एका आठवड्यामध्ये 3 मॅचेस 3 फॉर्मॅटमध्ये खेळतो, बरोबर. तरी तो स्वतःला लेबलाइज करू इच्छित नाही, कारण जर तो त्याप्रमाणे खेळला तर त्याला तिकडे येणार, असा खेळला तर तिकडे येणार, त्यामुळे तो खूप कन्फ्यूज. आणि ह्या वयामध्ये आपण सगळं म्हणतो अडॉप्ट करायला पाहिजे, अडॉप्ट करायला पाहिजे. रैनाला अजून टेस्ट मॅचला अडॉप्ट करता येत नाही, बरेच वर्ष घडली. पठाणला अजून करता येत नाही. अडॉप्ट करायला पाहिजे म्हणजे एक्झॅक्टली काय करायला? अडॉप्ट करायला तुम्हाला एक मॅच्युरिटी लेवल यायला लागते आणि ती फार लहान वयात येते असं मला वाटतं. की एक आपण असं एक सगळेजण घाबरतो ना की टेस्ट मॅच डील होणार आहे, टेस्ट मॅचमध्ये काय होणार आहे. तर मला असं वाटतं की जर आपण असं केलं की 2020 क्रिकेट नॉट फॉर अंडर-20s, कारण 20 वर्षाच्या खालच्या खेळाडूंना 2020 खेळून देऊ नका. 20 काय तुम्ही 22 पर्यंत नाही आवायचं ते, कारण एकदा पण त्या स्टेजला तुम्ही आलात नंतर तुम्ही फक्त टेस्ट लेवलचे 2020ची माणसांचा विचार करता. मी तुम्हाला लोकल क्रिकेटचं सांगतो. लोकल क्रिकेटमध्ये 18 वर्षाच्या मुलाला अडॉप्ट करायला सांगणं आणि ते त्यांना जमवणं हे कठीण आहे. आणि जर क्वेश्चन इज कोणी प्लेअर आजचा स्वतःला लेबलाइज करू इच्छित नाही, त्यांना असं नाही म्हणायचं की मी फक्त टेस्ट खेळणार आहे, त्याला सगळ्या फॉर्मॅट खेळायचं आहे आणि ते त्याला कठीण आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण त्याच्यावर बॅन केला तर ते तुम्हाला कसं वाटतं की लाईव्ह बद्दल ते कळायचं नाही, त्याच्यानंतर तू एक्सप्लोर करतो आणि तू मॅच्युअर झालास मग तू सगळे शॉट खेळू शकतो, हे पण ते त्याबद्दल तुम्हाला काय वाटतं?
Well, what I will, as a coach, I will only say that like we can't just think about a particular age because it will be again individual how he matures. Sometimes if he matures early also, it can happen because it's all individual. As we can't make also like that particular age he will manage. If he is strong enough, is basic. I will say like even a Harmeet Singh's example, like that was a scenario like he just was there in IPL. But as a coach, we told him like your basics are not strong, and I think that is his personal coach or whatever his coach who's from childhood, he can take that call because whether he's all his basics and he can survive for all formats, and because obviously for that is the T20 is toughest because as a bowler, as a spinner in nowadays it's tough to get wickets and all, so it's better to go with the longer version, then one day and then T20. But I personally don't agree with that. Like we can say like after 22 you can play. It will be again individual or it may be the case by case, like if whether he's done or not. But that is one of the challenges. The whole topic is like how quickly, it's not adaptation, how you quickly make your technique strong for that each and every format. That's also important. Like how whether you don't want to labelize, but Vasu sir, like you have to come back as a winner. How you're going to win. And it can happen in like 4-day version also, like for last session is there and you have to score. So you have to be mentally thinking for all those possibilities. And I think then only he can go there and come back.
Next question.
There's a difference in terms of the predictability of the format. Take a case of 2020 or 50-50. The bowlers are on the corridor of off stump. Take a case of test cricket, like all these great cricketers when they play, like the 6 bouncers is to be bowled. Now you don't see 6 bouncers in the over, like 1 bounce per over. Now when you change the format, sometimes it's very easy to play 2020 rather than the longer version. Obviously longer version is difficult, but to say that to any youngster that you do this or you do that is very difficult. I'm giving an example. Some of the people like sometime back you mentioned about the switch shot. Okay. Now I've come across some of the coaches who are, I don't want to mention the names or whatever, but what we have is level 2, 3 coaches. They're asking the youngsters to practice this. Now to practice those shots and implement those shots or play those shots, bring what kind of format they do it in any format. That's one of the reasons, like we mentioned, that Raina is not leaking. He's a good player, very good player. Maybe that like the adaptability is because of the predictability of the formats. Like here he gets the corridor. Like Sir said, Gail plays powerful shot. Maybe you would have played much better than him in the same format because too much of predictability. He knows that somebody is going to bowl here only, not a little outside the leg stump. It's a wide ball. So you're ready for the shots. And some of the bowlers, if you read, there are only 4 on an average. A bowler goes 4 overs. A batsman bats not more than 4 overs or maximum 5 or 6 overs. So everything is very, very, limited. And whoever clicks on that particular is great. As far as the power shots are concerned or the power game is concerned, maybe the equipments have changed. The bats are much better. The boundary ropes are much shorter. The people are not aware the boundary ropes are shorter. The fielders are only 2 fielders in the power play. So much easy. But in the end, you have to hit the ball. That is okay. The technique, basic technique. But how to change the basic technique to go to that level, and like what he's got very good questions he asked. In fact, how to tell a youngster that if it is so, why do you get the foreign coaches in India? What is it that they are teaching our players at 20, 20 and 50? What is that? None of the IPL teams have one Indian coach at the base. So what is it that they are teaching and what is it our coaches cannot teach? What is it that all these great players do not know how to adapt with the situation, and we can't take something from there and crossroad, so what is it that they are giving it to us that we do not know?
This question is for Mr. Amrit.
Well, to come back to that IPL is basically the franchise.
Yeah, forget IPL, any 2020.
But mostly in IPL it happens like what the foreign coaches are there. Basically, is because the franchisee owner decides. It's not like maybe that they are the owner, they decide who should be.
Indian or
They are. They are the one who...
The challenge part was missing in the sense, what are the challenges for us? The challenges for the umpires, I don't want to mention anything. We don't have one elite panel umpire. We have huge amount of money. We do not have a coach for the last so many years for Indian team. And we don't think that we have the greatest cricketers. I mean, when I came to Bombay, I was really, like everyone here was like, I'm still, they're greater than anybody else outside. But are we really protecting these people for any format to discuss? Let's take it from them and let's apply and let's see what can be done. Even this Ajit Parikar cannot play a switch shot. I'm suppose had he been in this easy, because everything is very predictable. Somebody is going to bowl in that corridor and not here and there. So I'm ready for that shot. And there are a lot many things. The two fielders. How do you teach a youngster? What is it that the coaches, the foreign coaches are telling? In fact, I'm very keen to know it from you. So what is it that they have that, whether it's the communication skills or is something different or like knowledge which is totally different? And it's not only happening in IPL. Forget the IPL. It's not only in India. Across, go to Bangladesh. I've gone there. They both invited me. In fact, when I was interacting, so one of the Goras told me, Sandy, you conduct a seminar. And I asked them, how many out of 21 people sitting here can speak English? Only 2. And understand only 2. So what are they teaching? What is it that we do? So what are the challenges? Only the Goras keep. No, the challenges across these 3 formats.
No, Stan, your question is a bit too long, but let me tell you one thing that I can need a picture.
I didn't want to ask a second time, that's the reason I covered everything in my stuff. Okay.
You're covering all.
Yeah.
No, like what Sangam also said is like Test cricket, and I will start with the state of the season. Both are a different ball game. That's the biggest difference is the red ball and white ball. If you know, like in a Test cricket, that reverse swing, so many things happen with the red ball. It's tough, and there the real technique comes. When you come to the Kukapura white ball, you know only just first 10 overs. If you take care, rest, then you can control the game. And even the rules say like the bouncers are not that much. But yes, to play with that as a coaches, definitely for a red ball, they will need to adopt those techniques to how to survive, especially with red ball. And I think coming to your coaches and foreign, I think one thing best thing is NCA did is they are even all Test cricketers and even all who wanted to be in coaching. There are courses especially, and I think it really helped. I think as a coaching, it helped me like doing all level 2, level 3, because those are the things where it's not just because you are a Test player, but I think that helps. They teach you like what if each and every answer, like it's the question of why is happening good or not. So I think that's the thing, and I don't think so like any Indian coaches, they can be matched. They can really match to any foreign coaches also. But yes, what you said is like they're not even the platform or no system is there. But I think that is the call to take, because NCR, I am sure that there are many level 3 coaches are clear their thing, and maybe that one day they have to take a call.
So we have 1,500 level A coaches, more than the level 2 coaches, and more than level 80 level C. So pretty much foreign coaches.
We need only 200 more for coaching course. Yeah, Mr. Mathure.
I can just extend a point. I'm on the other side of the fence. Having been an Indian coach in Australia, for example, for a number of years. The problem here I find is there's a very high emotional quotient with India. The first question they ask is, "Kitna cricket khela?" That has a bearing, but coaching is about communication. It is not just about how many matches you play. Some of the greatest cricketers have been appalling coaches. Without mentioning any names, some of the greatest Indian cricketers have been pretty average coaches. The problem is communication. The problem is not knowing what the game is about. The problem is actually relating what should happen. Again, what Praveen has said is the best thing about a qualified coach is that he removes emotion from his work. You can stand aside outside the skin and tell the person as he sees it. You cannot tell a person who has played 100 Test matches what to do in a coaching situation, because that is not going to go down well, because there are egos involved.
Very true.
Secondly, the grasp of the game from the coach's perspective is that he's got a macro view. He's not interested in what's troubling you. As Ajit Bhai said, If you are in Sri Lanka for a particular purpose, you have no business to be unfit. If you're not willing to play for India, don't bloody well go there. And that's as simple as that. A coach can only do so much. But as Vasu Uncle has said, it is the attitude that separates the wheat from the shade. So unless and until you have got those ingredients right, you're not going to have a balance, you're not going to have a good team. That's why if you look at the Indian and the England and the Australian team, there are very few big names that you will find. You don't find the Jonathan Trotts playing 2020 cricket. You have people who are coming from the outside who have got the hunger and the desire to prove that they are motivated enough to give it 100%. I honestly don't believe that our players are willing to do that. They pick and choose when they want to play. They want to play when it suits them. And the moment there is some criticism, we don't like criticism at all. So it's all very well in a panel to discuss, but the biggest change has to come from within. And unless and until you're willing to do that, we can keep talking to the cows come home because it's not going to improve. Thank you.
How do you compare basic of the cricket in different type of cricket for the selection?
What is the question? So I think, yeah.
How you will compare basic of the cricket?
Basics in different
Format for the selection. So I'm one of the selector, how I will compare that?
Well, for a batsman or some, it is like, to us it's like always like a coaches will say like every batsman is, action is important. It's what happens behind you is important. It's not just the reaction. But if your actions are correct, that is the basics. If your actions are correct, the reaction will take, that will take care. For that there I think that's as a selector. So if you see like that player got that potential, like his basics are strong, his pick-up, backlip, and how his impact points are coming. Those are important, the way he is meeting, and like he can play under pressure. That will be the key that when you are coming to the select and all format. How we play under pressure, that will definitely be the main part of that.
To add to what Praveen said, when you say basics, in any walk of life, take cricket, take music for example, unless your Sarigama is right, you can improvise on that, but your base has to be there. There's a very famous sentence by Neville Cardus on Jack Hobbs. What he had said about Jack Hobbs' batting was, with Jack Hobbs, there could be an error of judgment, but never an error of grammar of batting. Which in short means that his technique was so sound, the bat, the lift, the footwork, whatever. There could be an error of judgment if the ball will place here or there. So, improvisation is a key, but your basics have to be sound, your technique has to be sound, and I think that's what Praveen was saying. I think to my mind, also, if one has to compare these three formats of games, I put them in two different categories. One is classical khyaal music, where that's what Test cricket is about. You can expand, you can show your talent, on a longer format of the game. While this is tap like filming music, it will not survive. Test cricket, I think, will survive. And at the cost of some time, I will give you my personal experience. On this particular Saturday afternoon, I happened to be at Lord's. Myself and Raman sir were out. Both of us were going around. The first person I meet is, and this was a 50-50 Cornhill match or whatever, 50 or 60 overs. First person we meet is Gary Sobers in the long room. And I asked Gary, I said, Gary, tell me, this format of game, one-day cricket, you be a master of it. What do you think of this, format? His answer was very typical. He said, no man, this is not the real thing. The real thing is Test cricket. The next person I meet is Dennis Compton in the corridor. I asked him the same question. what do you think of this limited overs cricket? I don't call it ODI, basically a limited overs cricket. And there is comment that, no, sheer contentment. The bowler is not trying to get the batsman out, he is only trying to contain the runs. And in this game, there is no recovery. So if you are going to score runs, because the strike rate, I think in this format, there are many challenges which have, to be faced. Like including the strike rate, in the olden days it was time factor. Lunch, 100 before lunch, which was 2 hours. It didn't matter whether bowling was 20 overs or whether it was 40 overs. Various things have entered the game. We meet after that, Peter May, he never liked limited overs cricket. Because it's a different form of cricket. The genuine, like khayal music, I think that will probably continue to survive. Pop music, you may listen to film music today, you may tap to it, but then it makes...
This is 90 about
the absolutely right. Yeah, what is true. So, but one of the challenges which Praveen strikes me is that in any sport, when the speed gets faster and faster, decision making, which is really a challenge, I think that also has to be very sharp. Frankly, when I saw 2020, T20, first when we won, before that tournament started, I could not even understand what all this was. I said, why 20 overs, why not 20 balls? It's a cross between baseball and cricket, as one can see. But when we won that, what occurred to me was that there is a lot more strategy involved, thinking involved, and that is the challenge. Similarly, I cannot honestly, if I were to play T20 or whatever, I would thinking myself lucky that I was an opening batsman because I would get 20 overs to play. But somebody comes in 17th over and now what is he going to do in 3 overs, and yet he is judged by whether he has scored runs or not runs, what strike rate is, etc. There are many challenges, even the captains talking about, I will give my first experience. Unless there are other questions.
There is one I think at the back.
No, then let me stop.
Related to yours.
Okay.
Yeah. Lewis coming to picture.
Sorry?
Lewis.
Yeah, yeah.
So it has become more challenging for the captains because I think Jayawardene lost the match because of that. He was thinking about the Lewis.
Sure, I'm sure. I don't understand that formula. That's another matter, but yes, it is certainly an aspect which needs to be or must have been taken into account. True. Yes.
My question is, under the circumstances, 20 ODI and a 5 days cricket, there should be a different coach. Because as you see, because of the 20 introduction, all the test matches, they are getting over in a 4 days time. You may find 20, 30, 40, but 100s are not coming. You may not get the 7 wickets, you may not get the 8 wickets, and even the flight people have missed. The swings are missing, and all those things are missing around from the 5 days cricket. And now it is no more a 5 days cricket. It could be a 4 days cricket, would be appropriate, so that game, because it may not look bad. Because nowadays the game getting over in 3 days time. Because the tendency of most of the team has got 7-8 players of the 20. When 7-8 players are playing from the same format, the tendency of swinging the ball is not there, tossing the ball is not there, chasing the ball outside the off, because there are 3 feet gully, so you are bound to be out. So
this is like President said, why this flight going around me only? Yeah, I thought he would say that. So it's but now the whole attitude is changing because now they know exactly what they play. Now when we were playing longer version, we never had this 1 day. Okay? We never had this 2020 shorter version. We don't need to play longer version. We knew to play test match yesterday. And when there's a chance to kill, okay, we go for kill. So again this. So the one flag hanging around. What I'm going to say that even now, say for instance, Dhoni, just because he lost one series, for instance, he needs to be changed. There are some comments and whatnot and all from media and all. But then we don't look back exactly a little bit. I mean, we just tend to forget what he has done actually earlier. He's the most winning captain. So coaches also need to be, changing also. And the technology is so much advanced that they know exactly for which format which player should be there or something, and which player is going to play all the three formats or maybe only one format. It's for the coach exactly to see that, to ensure if he's being paid so much. I suppose I think it's his duty. But it's not necessary that we should change the coach, or it's not necessary that we should change the captain every now and then. And then you mess up the whole thing perhaps, because the players don't know which captain to look to exactly. This captain will be different, that captain, there will be another captain. So as long as that captain is doing well, coach is doing well, and maybe I think it's cricket, like Boston State, cricket is funny. Maybe he may lose one or two, but we can't keep on winning all the time. It's like that. But that doesn't mean exactly if the captain has been consistently doing well, coach has been consistently well, I think we should have, because he gets a hang of the players. That is more important. Maybe for another format, maybe 3 or 4 players might come in. But there are other 11 players. So he knows them very well. And to get them, merge into is another 3 or 4 newcomers. Exactly. That's his duty. But mostly more than half the team exactly, he knows where they stand.
And next at the back, second last group.
Sir, I have a comment. T20 has already given rise to T1 in the case of a tie. This way is super over. Now, if T20 gets a bit boring, T10, T5 may arise. But, in my opinion, real cricketers are players who play the longer version of the game. And if our players have to survive a long career and success, they must be made to play the longer version of the game on uncovered wickets, with bowlers being allowed to bowl 6 bounces and over and without helmets. If we do that in our domestic games, we will produce world beaters.
Keep the Undertaker meeting.
Yeah.
So, now when it is selected team, the select coach, assistant coach, batting coach, bowling coach, fielding coach, physio, trainer, video analyst, then psychologist, mental conditioner. It is such a big stuff required. It's another team. Not only too much of pressure on a player, too much of advice, too many people at a time, and too many cooks spoil the food. So you think it's really necessary to have such a huge staff to do with the team.
Who are you asking this question?
Praveen, Ajit sir.
Yes, I think it's almost another team which works with the main team. And I don't know, I mean, accountability is there. It's like everything is there for the captain, it's there for the player. And what happens to those guys that they were traveling with them? So this is really, sometimes I feel funny. You've got super coach, you've got bowling coach, you've got batting coach, you've got... And I mean, the captain doesn't have to think, because super coach only is the thinker supposed to be. Think time.
Any further questions?
Yeah, a very interesting thought has crossed my mind. So I thought I just want to share that thought with you. I think it would be of some interest. I had an opportunity to interact with Mr. Vijay Merchant when I was a kid. I was a school boy, and we used to listen to cricket with Vijay Merchant. It used to come from 2 to 2:10 on Sundays. And I happened to write one question to him, and he had invited me for his, in his office he used to have a talk, and I had gone there. And luckily that day the subject was cricket and life. And wonderfully he had presented and compared cricket with life. This is something that has actually struck me, and I have tried to use that in my life. In the sense, I am a banker, I am with Axis Bank. We, to just elaborate upon it, every employee has got these are your key areas for working. So, once something was given to someone, he said, no, it is not in my KRA. I will not do, it's not my job. I thought of that what Mr. Vijay Merchant has said. Then I asked him, do you play cricket? He said, yes, I play cricket. You are a batsman or a bowler? He said, I am a batsman. So your KRA is that you have to score runs for the team. You bat, you get 100. You are fielding. A ball is hit. It comes there, low down on the ground. Will you go for the catch or will you say no? My KRA is done. I will not take it. Then he said, no, I will take. Why will you take? Your KRA is done. You are selected for the next match. No, the team has to win. I said, here the team doesn't have to win. In the bank, he did that job. The point that I want to say is that, and when I was listening to this discussion, same thing crossed my mind. And I was just thinking about that, and some interesting observations I have got. I think it would be of some interest to all of you all. I am just sharing that with you. The challenges that the different format of cricket has thrown up. Now, I was just thinking about society at large nowadays. Now, test cricket. Now, think about eating habits. Think about relationships. There are two things that I've. Think about eating. Test cricket is like a homemade food. Good for health. Nobody likes it. It's very good for them. People don't like it. Similarly, in relationship, it's like marriage. It's very good, very strong. Sometimes people say, marriage. One day cricket. It's like you go out to hotel to have food. In relationship, it's like romancing. That stage we find little thoda interesting. Marriage becomes boring. That's what happens. Then T20, that's the best. When it comes to food, it's like junk food, tasty but very bad for your health. It's very tasty. And in relationship, it's like one night stand. You may enjoy it, but it has no meaning at all. It has no meaning at all. So this is what Mr. Vijay Merchant has said. It is thought as so. I think I can say that challenges to cricket in different format is probably the challenges that the society is facing today. Probably, I do not know. I think you all can just throw some light on that.
My friend, you have made me reflect on my 58 years of marriage. I won't carry your thought home. I dare not. But having said that, I think we've discussed about time. Most of us must be thirsty, I'm sure. I think thought lips. Why we chose this subject? Because it is certainly a very challenging kind of situation in these different formats. Lots of thoughts, and some have said that there should be a separate set of cricketers. Some have said separate set of captains, and so on. I think there is element of truth in almost every thought. Rahul made a very good point about coaching the attitude. Ultimately, it boils down to attitude. Another thing out of that, when I was CIC chairman, I won't mention names, but one of the coaches who was also, I think, managing a cricket team, Ranji team or whatever, and Bombay team had done badly. So he was explaining of what had happened. And two things is mentioned, or three things. First is an attitude of some members. Concentration, dedication, 100%, giving 100%, etc. That was not there. Somebody was reading a book where the team was collapsing and all kinds of things. And that is something which caused the bad performance. Right? This gentleman also happened to be a coach. So I asked him, I said, tell me, as a business person, what strategy one looks at on a scale of 10? I said, on a scale of 10, where would you put their technical skills? Skills of batting, bowling, fielding, whatever. Would it be 8, 9, or upwards of 8 or 9? And I said, what about the other attitudes, concentration, dedication, etc., etc.? He said, maybe 4. So, my question then was, as a coach, which is the area that needs more attention, getting the attitude, I think Rahul mentioned this, is it more of creating that kind of atmosphere, coaching, attitude, team spirit that you refer to? And he said, yes, I think probably that's what needs to be done. Because let's admit, if somebody is playing for India or somebody is playing for Ranji Trophy, whether it be a bowler or a batsman, his technical skills are already proven. I think there might be a difference of maybe half a point, one or another. I don't think a coach can tell Sachin Tendulkar whether his bat is coming straight or not straight, or whether his foot is going there or not. So I think what would be important is looking after the other aspects. And as speed of any sport increases, I think captaining these limited overs cricket, particularly, and as the game becomes shorter, faster, the captain has to be thinking on his feet all the time. Whether to put a fielder here, whether to start with a slow bowler or a fast bowler, who will bowl the last 2 overs. I think there's a lot more to it than merely hitting a ball. I mean, that's how I see it. Undoubtedly, the media and the following. I think one great thing about limited overs is that there is result at the end of the day's play. That is what a common follower of the game. And follower, of course, TV has increased the following much greater. In a sense, we were the dull dogs of cricket, and that's where draws after draws, that killed spectator interest at one point in time. Undoubtedly, limited overs has revived that, and I think, as somebody mentioned, the games are getting over in 3 days and 4 days. Yeah, but that again brings back me to the issue, namely that the attitude of the batsman, I think all said and done, the batsman really make this game by and large, has become more aggressive. Maybe it is influence of limited overs, strike rate. These calculations were never there. And now all these pressures build so that and pressures, when there are pressures, they convert themselves into challenges. And that's why we thought that we will choose this subject today. Thank you all for watching.
Dr. Kacharia wants to say a few words after the she will break.
Okay. I'll take 2 minutes. Sure. I'll not take more than 2 minutes. I've been a great fan of Vijay Merchant. I remember when I was in school, I used to try and imitate Vijay Merchant's commentary. So those few words are still in my mind. If you audience comment, I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll just say how you should comment on the radio. Is okay? My voice has changed. It might not be saying what I used to imitate, but the way he used to speak on the mic, I just said 2 minutes. Good morning, listeners. I'm Vijay Merchant reporting to you from Playground Stadium. Very bright sunny morning here. The news here is that India has won the toss and decided to bat on a pitch which was perfect for the batting. Indian lineup please. Now Pataudi. So. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now the bar is open and so is food counter. Thank you. Thank you all.
you from my panel.